right, guys, time to go through the weekend warriors, and who better to start with than those two, Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, a fourth quarter that got entirely off the rails out of nowhere on Sunday Night Football here on NBC. And let's hear from Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, two guys that share a backfield but seem to be pretty good friends.
Yeah, I mean, that was big for us. O-line, they did a great job out there today, blowing guys off the ball, making it easy for us to find the lanes, pick holes. And, we just stuck with it all game, and, it paid out.
TP, man, he's so fast. He's just running by guys. I mean, a couple of them plays, he's outrunning the blockers. So you give him a little slither of daylight, he's gonna take it to the crib and make it pay.
Tony Pollard finishing the week as RB2, 24.6 fantasy points. Zeke finishing as a top 10 running back as well as the Cowboys' backfield explodes.
Yeah. What do you think of Tony Pollard's hat?
I loved it.
Yeah,
I might get one for
not big enough. Not big enough.
Yeah,
Brian Robinson, I feel like he's cornered the hat market.
No. Every running back should have a big hat.
Yeah, it's just part of the game.
When you have a big game, get a big hat.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
It's true.
That's
still
the rule.
One of the strangest stories of 2022, that hat.
It worked.
I had a buddy of mine texted me before the game. He said, I'm in a close one. I got Zeke and Pollard. I can only play one. Who am I playing? And I said, you're playing Pollard. And I don't know that that's, you know what I mean? And I don't, by the way, not only was it the right call, but I don't know that it's that tough a call. I don't know that it was that, sometimes people get into their own head and they just think too much. But, it's all happening, right? All the stuff that we've been saying, he looks faster, more explosive than Zeke. The only question was, can he take the hit up? Look, I still think Zeke's going to have value because they're still going to use him when they get in close. But Pollard has exploded. And by the way, guys, they play Houston and then Jacksonville the next 2 weeks. You like both Pollard and Zeke going forward. Then Philadelphia and at Tennessee. So you don't love the back half of the next four, but they're so good that this offense is rolling at such a high level. You're not really worried about it. And the fact is they've started to use Pollard a little bit in the passing game. They didn't need to last night. They dominated. I don't know if you saw Football Night in America. We did all our game picks. And, in the game picks, normally we're supposed to this is what I'm looking for and here's why I think we're going to win. And our producer, Matt Casey, was like, look, everyone's taking the Cowboys, but you're trying to say something a little bit nice with so guys, just get through it quickly. But Jason Garrett was trying to, Tony Dungy was just like, well, if Jonathan Taylor has a big game, and, Tony Dungy, of course, close with the Colts, and that's his former team and everything like that, and Jeff Saturday played for him. So he's trying to be nice. And even Jason Garrett, the nicest guy in the world, was like, Cowboys by 40. You know what I mean? He said this on air. And by the way, he came almost close. He was joking, and yet he came very close to being right. You know what I mean? So I don't know that there's a takeaway here other than this. It was nice to see Michael Gallup get some red zone usage. We know about the talent. A little bit of touchdown variance there, but positive touchdown variance for Michael Gallup as well. Look, the Cowboys are really good. Yeah. Cowboys are really good.
I would be a little
bit analysis.
Yeah, I'd be a little bit concerned about the pass catches for Dallas just because of these matchups coming up, and it's going to be the Pollard and Zeke show. Obviously, he's starting CeeDee Lamb regardless, but Gallup is going to be touchdown dependent, I think.
Very touchdown dependent. Here's the thing. So on going into Football Night in America, I gave my prop of under 244 passing yards for Dak Prescott. One of the reasons why he's thrown over 30 pass attempts once this year. Yep. Their defense is so good and they're running the ball so well, they don't need to have the volume. CeeDee Lamb's always going to get his, and Dalton Schultz is fine because the bar is so low at tight end. But I understand that, right. It was nice to see Gallup get in there. He is touchdown dependent 100%.
The Raiders pull off an upset win over the Chargers. Davante Adams goes off. Josh Jacobs continues to be the league's rushing leader. Adams here, guys. Now you're talking about 27-plus points in 4 of his past 5 games.
He's just ridiculous. What we've seen here is that when you are an elite wide receiver and you go to another team, people were nervous in the offseason, hey, you're leaving Aaron Rodgers, you're going to Derek Carr. Hey, Tyreek Hill, you're leaving Patrick Mahomes, you're going to Tua. Sometimes when talented players get paid and fed, you know what they do? Is they produce in big ways, and that's what we're seeing with Adams and Tyreek Hill. I don't know that there's a takeaway here other than, he's awesome, and for all of us who have you on our fantasy teams, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Josh Jacobs.
It's a perfect fantasy kitchen for that team as well, because not only are Davante and Jacobs arguably the best wide receiver and running back in the league, I would have Tyreek Hill and Jefferson above, but whatever, it's close, is that the Raiders are also bad. So they were going to be throwing all the time.
They're bad, and oh, by the way, they're bad and they're banged up. So, no Hunter Renfrow or Darren Waller. I mean, when was the last time we saw either of those guys? And so you have a narrow target tree, for who you're going to get the ball to in an offense that needs to score and be up-tempo quite a bit. So the good times will continue to roll. They play the Rams, then the Patriots, the Steelers, the home to San Francisco. It's not the best schedule, but whatever. You're starting these guys until further notice, always, and they're worth the price in DFS. Like, what else can you say other than bravo?
Yep.
The Commanders and the Giants end in a tie, the illustrious tie that we all love. Terry McLaurin, though, season-high 24.5 fantasy points. He just made some insane plays yesterday.
He's very good. He's very good.
Yeah, what else do you want me to say?
Yeah, I mean, again, we've been talking about this. Now, he's on a bye this week as the Commanders reset for their rematch against the Giants next week. But since Taylor Heineke took over, pocket watch to Heineke, right? He's the 19th best wide receiver in fantasy on a points-per-game basis. He's had over 100 yards in 3 of the past 6, 8 for 105. Look, he's just a superstar. And as teams realize the Commanders want to run the ball and they start, trying to load the box a little bit more, you're going to see that. It was nice to see Jahan Dotson. A lot of it was on that one big play, but, he's a talented rookie that was producing prior to his injury and, a little slow coming back, but nice game for him as well. By the way, very quickly, 2 alerts that just came in via Fantasy Life app. Thank you so much. Free. First off, this is from Brandon Gustafson, who is the assistant editor at Seattle Sports. Pete Carroll says Kenneth Walker III has a strain in his foot, not an ankle sprain, called it unusual and nothing he's never heard of something like this before, said it's an inflammation issue. Next step is trying to manage it this week in practice, and he can possibly play next week.
Okay,
again,
good news.
Pete Carroll is more optimistic than not, but this is certainly better than, hey, it's a high ankle sprain or even a low ankle or anything. So the fact that there's even the chance of playing this week is great news there as well. And by the way, Brett Hundley has been signed. The triumphant return to Brett Hundley by the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
Ooh, I wonder what that will ultimately mean for Lamar Jackson going
correct.
forward. All right, we'll get back on track here with the Packers, who Christian Watson continues his tear. This is 4th straight game with 20-plus fantasy points, 8 touchdowns in his past 4 games. It was hard to imagine him to stay on this touchdown pace, but Watson has been the big play guy they were hoping for when they took him in the 2nd round.
Since week 10, he's the 3rd best wide receiver in fantasy. He's now got 8 touchdowns, a ridiculous 8 touchdowns in his past 4 games, including 3 different multi-touchdown games. It's his 4th straight game with 20 or more fantasy points. Now, he's on a bye this week, but he comes out to the Rams, the Dolphins, the Vikings. You're happy about any of those matchups there as well. Again, as we talk about rookie wide receivers coming into their own and leading you into the fantasy playoffs, Christian Watson is on that list.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and RotoWorld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from RotoWorld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.